we're going to have a look at how to set and edit validation criteria for data entry. When you've spent time creating a spreadsheet and then you want to start entering data, it's very easy for things to go wrong, especially if it's not you doing the typing. People often fill in the new data. Here we've got a worksheet for employees at an organisation, and it's very easy when people are filling this in to either deliberately or unintentionally make mistakes. For example, in sex, the traditional thing is to put yes, haha, very funny. And for age, well, these are employees, so somebody might put 200. They are clearly incorrect data entries, and we have a method of making sure that doesn't happen. The first step is to select the cells that you want to work with, and it's one type of validation at a time. So I'm going to look at the age column first. Now, depending on your spreadsheet, you can just select the cells that you're working with, or if you've got a list that is going to be never ending, then it's as easy to select the whole column. You have to make that decision. But one way or another, you select the cells that you want to work with, and then you select the data menu and drop down to validation. And here's our data validation dialog box. 3 tabs. The first tab is the settings, and the default value is that any value can be entered into that cell. Well, we know that because we can type anything in. The way we change that is simply by selecting a different option from this drop-down menu. There's a whole load of things that we can change, and I'm not going to talk about each one. You can go away and have a look at this in Windows, in Excel Help, to look at the details and nuances of each one of these. I'll talk about 1 or 2. The age column is going to be a number. So I don't want decimal numbers. I don't want 27.5. I want a whole number. So I'm going to select whole number. And then I can say things like, do I want the data greater than? For example, if people aren't allowed to work until they're 21, I could put greater than and then select 21 as the starting value. But I'm going to put between. And then here I'm going to type the 2 values that I want those numbers to be between. So I'm going to put between 15 and 70. They are the ages that people are allowed to work in this organisation. We then click OK. Now when we're doing data entry and somebody puts in inadvertently the wrong the wrong age, might put in 75, for example, and the computer says, we've got an error. The value entered is not valid. A user has restricted values that can be entered into this cell. So you'll understand what that means, don't you? No? No, it's not very helpful, is it? So we can actually change this error message to be a lot more helpful. We'll cancel this and let's try this again. So this is how we would edit the data entry. Again, select your cells and do data validation again. And it shows us here what we've already selected. And we can just make changes. So I could change that number to 65, for example. But what we've also got are the 2 tabs. The first is the input message. This message pops up whenever you select the cell. It's not about data entry. You can use it as a guidance of what to enter. So I'm going to put in allowable entries. And then my input message is, please enter values between 15 and 65. So that will pop up when somebody selects the cell, if I can type properly. But what happens even if they ignore that? Well, that's when we use the error alert. If anybody ignores that and enters the wrong information, we get an error. And we can change this error. If we don't put this in, then we get the message that we just saw on the screen. But this allows us to change it. Because 3 types: stop, warning, and information. Warning gives a yellow triangle. Information gives the I sign. Other than that, they are really identical. They give information or a warning, but they don't prevent the data entry. they'll still let people enter values that are outside the range. So use those ones with care. I'm using stop, which will prevent the data entry. So I'll put incorrect values, and then error messages, values must be between 15 and 65. And then we click OK. Let's try this again. First of all, when I select the cell, you can see I get a screen tip telling me to enter numbers 15 and 65. That was our first message that we put in. But even if I ignore that and type in an incorrect value, then get an error message that says values must be between 15 and 65. And I think you'll agree that's a lot more useful than the message that we had earlier. So now all I have to do is click retry and put in the correct value. Let's try that again, only with the sex column. Select the cells, data, validation. This time, instead of on the settings tab, instead of any value, this time we'll look at, we're going to put some text in. No, actually, let's make it a list. We're going to make it a list. Some of these other things, decimal obviously allows decimal numbers. Lists allows you to click from a drop-down list of items. Date will only allow you to put dates in, and again you've got start, end, and end dates. Time only allows you to put times in, etc. Custom can be quite useful. You can put formulas and functions inside there. But read the help file for details on this. It gives some really good examples. I'm going to choose list. Now, when we choose list, this is going to give us an item like this, like a drop-down list. And I can put the items that are going to appear on that list in this box. And I want F for female, comma, M for male. If I've already got those items somewhere in the worksheet, I can put cell references there, which would obviously be a lot more useful. But let's leave it as the typing it in at the moment. Click on OK. And let's see what happens here. Let's put in Smith. Now when I come to the sex field, you can see I've got a drop down menu now, and I can choose male or female. And if we just edit that again, select the full cell range, data, validation, there's my items. I can make changes to that. And I can put messages in. Oops. So this is my tooltip that pops up in yellow. It's like a comment really. Please enter only items from the list. And my error alert. Now here I can use a stop that if I try to put something different than F or M, it'll prevent it. Or perhaps I could just put a warning. You really should. Information. Can't type information. You really should only use F or M. Okay. Now when I come to do this, yes, I can select F or M from the list. But if I put something else in there, D for example, it says you really should use F or M. Do I want to continue or not? And if I say yes, it allows me to put D in that cell. So that's data validation. Select the cells you want to work with, data, validation, and dial up your settings.